So thank you everyone for being with us today. And we want to begin by centering ourselves within. So I invite you to find that comfortable position in the chair and just allowing yourself to relax and be present. And we use our outer senses to help us begin to acknowledge and be aware of this present moment. So I invite you to relax your shoulders and relax your facial muscles. Just allow any tension in the body to let go, to relax. Being aware of the weight of the body on the chair. Also be aware of the temperature of the air on your skin. Any noises you might hear, any sounds in the room, or even inside of you. Being aware of the movement of the breath. Feel the air coming in and going out. Focused within, you may also be aware of the beat of your heart. And so now I invite you to take 3 slow, deep breaths at your own pace, breathing down into the belly and into the chest, and then exhaling with a gentle sigh 3 times at your own pace, as full and slow as you can. And when you have completed your 3 deep, slow breaths, allow the breath to find a natural rhythm, observing it. Notice any changes that it makes in fullness or in the rate of the breath. And bring your attention into your heart. In the area of the physical heart, there is our energetic heart. That center of divine agape love within us, expressing as us. And so centered within, we realize that we are more and more aware of being in the present moment, not thinking about the past or the future. For all we ever have is this moment in time that is always moving onward. In this moment in time, I invite you to choose loving thoughts about yourself, loving acceptance, understanding that you are doing the best you can do in every moment. And so we forgive ourselves for those times when we are out of sync with love. we hold ourselves in gentle, loving kindness, accepting ourselves just as we are. For what we are is a glorious expression of the One, power and presence, having this human adventure. So as we hold ourselves in love, being gentle and kind and forgiving, accepting, compassionate, then we are able to do the same for others. And because we are one, as we love ourselves, we love others. As we love others, we love ourselves. And we extend our attention and our compassion to our planet and to all people and all life on our planet. Notice the shifts in your heart center. You may even feel a gentle smile wanting to come forth. Because love, true, authentic, and all-encompassing love also generates joy and gratitude. So we accept for ourselves, I am divine love. I am loved and I am loving. I am kind and caring to myself and others. Centered in love, I open to harmony, peace, joy, gratitude, abundance. I am the perfect expression of divinity. And so it is. Invite you to take another deep breath, just taking that energy in, being aware of it. And then as you exhale, exhale it out into the world. Amen. Now I invite you to open your eyes as you are ready to and give each other the Namaste salute. I behold the love in each one of you.
Okay, I think we're all in. Penny, what did you like about last week's class?
I liked the meditation at the end. Not that I didn't like the whole class, but I enjoyed
what was different about it?
About the class?
Yeah, about the meditation.
Oh, because you did a little bit of hypnosis there.
As a what?
I remember it being a little bit of a hypnosis meditation. At least that's what I remember. But it was very, very relaxing, and
That's not a problem.
and I was very relaxed for quite a while after that too.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
What about you, Sarah?
I would say too that the meditation at the end really stuck with me. Later that night, I had a baseball game with Gavin, and I swear, I don't know why, every single baseball game I get nervous and anxious, like before the game, kind of like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. And I had never felt so peaceful and like no twinge of anxiety at all for the entire game. And it was just, I'm like, this has to be because of the class and the meditation we did at the end. It just put me at such ease and acceptance and relaxation. It was wonderful. So it lasted hours and hours and hours.
Well, it's a big difference when you start disassociate the body because you have dominion when you don't. Anyway, thank you, both.
That's what it felt like. So thank you.
Right, thanks. Hi, Sherry. Okay. I'm
Hi.
gonna jump. Hi. Gonna jump right into the class. I have a lot of material, and it doesn't matter if I cover it all or not. There's always the next class. Anyhow, we probably have about 4 or 5 classes left. So I'm gonna start with what we ended last week with that paragraph with that about the little push. It's an awakening. An awakening can be linked to a call at the top of a hill. Nothing else is needed than the slightest push to get it rolling. And it will just keep on building momentum until something stops it. Once a cart is placed at the top of the hill and is pushed ever so slightly, it naturally begins rolling in the only direction it can go, and the momentum builds with that 1 ounce of exertion. It does it does take some effort in the beginning to get it going, but not much more than the slightest push. This is what happens when one wakes up from the sleep of homelessness. There's not much that needs to be done for one's awakening to expand. As a matter of fact, most people don't wake up fully because they're trying too hard. If you're awake, the push has already occurred. So all effort is futile. Books, programs, workshops, videos, and whatnot make you knowledgeable, but none of it makes you any more awake than the initial push. This is one of the reasons I emphasize body as an anchor in the awakening process, because it doesn't take effort. It only takes being with what is actually here, which is the present moment. All kinds of stories can be made up about what needs to be done, but it doesn't expand the awakening one bit. Either you're awake in the quietness of the present moment, or you're asleep in the noise of somewhere else. The slightest push reveals this truth, and as with the cart, nothing else is needed, the slightest push to get it rolling. And it will just keep on building momentum until something stops it. The slightest push is all that is needed for the awakening process to begin. It expands on its own. Basically, what I was saying through here, that has a lot to do with you don't have to try so hard. A lot of people jump from one thing to the next and from this book to the other one, and they just continue going through, let's see, a meditation workshop and whatever class or whatever program or whatever movie or whatever network or whatever psychic or and there's more to it than that. You can become knowledgeable. Remember, that's of the physical. Knowingness is spiritual. Knowledge is of the ego. But you need some sort of knowledge to get, to prime the pump. So moving right along, being led unconsciously. Thoughts will arise, but they don't have to control you. Remember what I was talking in the previous classes was that you always will have mind chatter. I don't care how aware or awake you are, because the body is meant to have the chatter. That's part of the function of the mind, or the brain, so all of this happens. The thing is, your attention doesn't need to be in the thought. It has to be on you or on the present moment. And how do you do that without that much efforting? Is you step out of the thought. How do you step out of the thought? Does that mean you stop the thought? No, you don't step out the thought. You disconnect from the thought. You do not pay attention to the thought. The thought is there, but your attention or your attachment is not there. Okay. And by the way, this is still from the that was my thought on the thoughts, but I'm taking this from the book. It's Always Monday, Only in Your Mind, by my friend Michael Kupo. Okay. So thoughts arise, but they don't have to control you. If there is an awareness of your thoughts, they will unconsciously be attached to, which will lead you to automatically being led by them. So, because the moment you start going, oh, I'm thinking this and I'm thinking that, you form an attachment. So you want to let the thought be there, but put it like in a static extension. If there is an awareness, will be unconscious. There won't be any way of knowing how unconsciously led you are by them. Without this awareness, you'll be unconsciously taken on an unconscious ride. Not that life does anything directly to anyone, but thoughts do arise, and they determine what kind of a ride you will be on. Awareness of your arising thoughts is essential if you are to not be unconsciously led by them. Thoughts are a natural part of life. They will arise. To me, there's no way of controlling the thought that arises, but I have found that awareness of them allows for a sliver of space that can be used to determine whether the thought leads you or not. Remember, it's the attachment to a thought that causes suffering, not the thought itself. So it's the attachment to the thought, not the thought itself, that causes suffering. The conditioned mind is cunning and useless, and unless there is some awareness of how much you're being led by your thoughts, there will be, they will, and this has to happen, lead you around as if you were a puppet on a string. So subtle is this that even if you are doing things that are labeled as good, if these thoughts aren't watched, they will eventually control you. Remember, control is control regardless of what label is applied to the thought, good or bad, indifferent, positive or negative, still a control issue. This is why the conditioned mind is because of its subtleness in using whatever it can to lead you. Thoughts will arise, but you don't have to be led by them. If there is an awareness of this, your thoughts will unconsciously be attached to which to you will be attached to the thought, and this will lead you to automatically being led by them. With that awareness, you will be led by your thoughts as if you were a puppet on a string. Everybody thinks, but your thoughts are not you. You're not your thoughts. Thoughts will arise because everybody is we're running this is a vibrational planet, and as thoughts arise, realize that your body's only and your awareness or your unconscious is only reacting to the energy that is passing through, and says, oh, this I'm gonna bring this up, this particular thought, because this is the kind of energy that is running through at the moment. And if you don't catch it and realize that that's not you, then you become attached to it. You're not your thoughts, very simply. Any questions before I move on?
Yes, Angie, I have a question, and I don't know if somebody can type in the name of the book and who it's by at some point in time. It doesn't have to be now. I just want to see the name of the book for later reference. Thank you.
Okay. Virginia, I missed something because his speaker is a little muffled.
Yeah, Chan,
Can you tell me, did you hear what he said? Did you understand?
no.
No, you didn't.
We could not understand.
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's
Yes.
still muffled, but it's
No, okay, so I know my speaker is just.
You're fine.
Okay, so
Was that a question or a comment that you
no,
said?
it was kind of a comment. It was a question. I was wondering if you or whoever, Virginia, can type in, or whomever knows the name of the book that you're reading from, if you can type it in.
Oh yes, the name of the book is always Monday Only in Your Mind.
Monday Only in Your Mind. Okay. Thank you.
By Michael Kupo. Yeah. Okay. So everybody please mute. So the next topic is light energy. Light energy is naturally free flowing because there is no resistance. There's no trying to make it different than what it is. Darkness energy stops the flow because it's based in trying to manipulate what is. Being aware of light energy at the precise moment it happens minimizes the darkness stories that are needed to make life the way you think it should be. Not the way it is, the way you think it should be. Awareness stops the darkness stories of the way you think something should be and allows the light of the way it is. This becomes the beautiful view of the way it should be. After all, wanting what is different is where all darkness disconnectment arises from. Do you get that?
Angie, are you saying?
Wanting what is different is.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is it light or light?
Okay, go ahead.
You said light energy. Is it light energy or life energy? Light. Thank you.
Light.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Could you repeat that whole sentence, please? Light energy does what?
Okay. Awareness stops the darkness stories of the way you think something should be and allows the light of the as the way it is. This becomes the beautiful view of the way it should be. After all, Wanting what is different is where all darkness, discontentment arises from. Wanting what is different is where all darkness, discontentment arises from. Wanting to change what is. Okay. When one is simply aware of the light as it arises, there isn't a need for a darkness story and selfish energy. Selfish energy doesn't come into play as the love of your heart naturally becomes the beautiful operating energy of life. Darkness energy becomes a created prison because it doesn't allow for a natural flow of light's energy. You become entombed in the energy of the darkness. It's the conditioned mind that cuts off the light energy flow of as it becomes the energy of the lower nature of self-centered nonsense. Why this darkness energy causes issue is because it bombards light with an unnatural energy, the unnatural energy flow, and doesn't allow harmony. Light is naturally free-flowing because there is no resistance. There's no trying to make life different than what's there. Darkness energy stops the flow because it's based on in trying to manipulate what's happening. So what's there is resisted to the point where the natural flow of what is and what is the energy is cut off. So every time that you resist, the block persists. The flow is no longer there. I mean, it doesn't mean that you cannot stop energy. So what happens, it deflects the flow of energy from going in different directions. Okay, the only thing needed for liberation is awareness, awareness of awareness. There's no darkness energy here. There's just the energy of light. Inner light shines outwardly. And what this basically is telling you is that if you do not concentrate on trying to fix something that doesn't need fixing, whatever is happening that you seem to perceive as painful, it is not. You think it is because your mind tells you that it is. You're attached to the thought that something is painful when it isn't. When something is scary or fearful or anxious, when it isn't, that's a thought. That's been moving you as a puppet on a string. That's allowing yourself to be guided by something that is not even yours. It's a vibration passing through. But the more that you practice this vibration, the more constant that flow is for you. So let's say something is passing by, some vibration. If you don't pay attention to it, you don't get attached to the thought, and you let it flow through, then you do not become attached to it and it passes through. But the moment that you start paying attention to it, the moment you focus your attention on it, no matter, even if you're trying to fix it, that's a focusing on. So as you become more and more aware, the more and more you are given tools that now take you to the next step. The next step is, you let go even of the process of, okay, this thought is not mine, or this is not this, or this doesn't belong over there. You basically take looking at the thought and saying, that's not me. You're looking at the emotion, that's not me. I'm getting angry, I'm getting upset, I'm getting fearful, I am getting frustrated. That's not you. You begin to realize that that is not you. That's a body, the body being affected by a vibration passing through. The least amount of attention you put to it, you have to say, it's no longer, that's not me. At that point where you're secure enough, where you know that you know that you know that you're not your thoughts, and that you know that you're not your feelings or emotions, then you cannot be, then you are no longer controlled by them. But the more attention, including the fixing part of it, that's still some part of attention to that. But we have to start where we're at. You have to start with some, and as you begin to understand more and more, and you will use tools less and less, because your momentum and your attention will not be fixed um, on on things that are not you. Those are just perceptions and thoughts, and that are not you, but you have thought that they are you. So now we are replacing those thoughts, and thoughts will be thoughts, and you will be prompted like, hey, here I am, and you're going, I'm just gonna change the station here. Uh, put your mind in between stations. Like, I'm not gonna be influenced by you, period. Um, so I'm opening the floor for questions. Well, it's not the floor, the screen. I'm opening the screen for questions. Yes, Sarah.
When you talk about you're not your thoughts, that brings me to you're not your feelings. And so even when you're feeling like immense love and joy, should you also dissociate from those feelings? Like, that's from those feelings, not me. It's
Understand
tricky.
one thing. Love is not a feeling, and it's not an emotion.
Say
Love
that
is not
again.
a feeling. You need to understand one thing. Love is not a feeling and not an emotion.
Okay.
So when you're saying something's positive or negative, I think I said that a little bit earlier. I don't care if your thoughts are supposed to be positive or negative,
Right.
because you're putting the attention in a divided way. This is good and this is bad. You're starting with the vision, and this is not about that. This is about
Okay.
inclusiveness. So feelings are feelings, thoughts are thoughts. They're not good, not bad, but you decide what you want to attach yourself to.
But
If
I
you want
need
to really
attachment.
have an attachment towards any of them, then you'll be controlled by them.
Hmm.
So you have a question, or you
No,
have
that,
the question of what that was the question.
yes. Yes.
Did I answer it, or do you still need some more?
I mean, I think I need to personally think about it a little bit, but I think you answered it with the even the good, supposed good emotions
Right,
will control you. So it's all a matter of your choice if you want to be controlled by that.
right.
Okay.
Anybody
Thank you.
else? Thanks. Nobody else? I'm moving on then.
Yes, Angie. It's Chad. So
Get closer to your speaker.
yes, okay. I guess I have to fix my volume on that. Excuse me. So love is a noun, is that correct? And so we are love, right? So according to Course in Miracles, so we are love, and only the love is real. So in being love, we don't attach ourselves to it because we already are that. Is that kind of the answer to what love is more? And I'm helping myself to understand this more, trying to.
Okay, you are love. If you want to think in these terms, I would say whatever is happening is all love. Your consciousness might not accept it as love, because a part of your ego might not want to see that as love.
Okay.
But everything happening is love.
Okay. Thank you.
And your resistance makes it, what makes it doesn't change it from being love. It's just, it's rerouting your flow of energy. It's, from being totally in the flow to being obstructed by it. Okay, the next topic is reaching addiction. The true addiction of humanity is to satisfy a false self. And I'm repeating that because we're all addicted. Okay? The true addiction of humanity is the need to satisfy a false self. This is the addiction. We are all addicts. The things that you reach for don't really matter. Understanding why you reach does. So, I mean, we are so addicted to certain behaviors and certain, I don't care. I mean, aside from substances and whatever, you're also addicted to your body's conditioning of certain thoughts, certain emotions, certain feelings, because it is producing a chemical energy in your body, and you become addicted to even the emotions. Even anxiety has has an addiction to it. Even becoming out of focus and totally out of line, you become still totally you're affected by the addiction to either the lack of that energy, the lack of that feeling, or the lack of that emotion. And we automatically reach for that. Okay. So reaching itself is humanity's dependency, regardless of what's reached for. And the reason there is a failure rate and not a success rate into an addiction is because the true cause of reaching isn't identified. When a person needs to reach for anything, not just drugs, alcohol, or gambling, or sugar, or sex, or whatever the reason why there's reaching needs to be identified is that if there's ever going to be a freedom from this. The answer has been provided to me, and the me that we're talking about here is Michael. Uh, and it's my obligation to share it. This isn't some ego trip. These answers are real. My writings uh, explain how this is from my experience and why this reaching is so, and what can be done to stop it. The reaching is based on an influence conditioned mind that is formed and controls you as if you were a puppet on a string. Through ignorance, most people are controlled by the conditioned mind until the day they die, and far too many die before they are provided with an answer. The conditioned mind is in everyone. We're all addicts. We just reach for different things. I'm only the instrument in all of this, but it is my obligation to get this message out to as many people as possible. A real answer has been provided to me with a practical solution to end the human conditioning of reaching addiction, not by substituting one dependency for another, but by truly learning to be free in the present moment. The true addiction is the need to satisfy a false sense of self. That is humanity's addiction. The things reach for don't matter, and also the things reach for, because it's from the ego's point of view. Because of that, it will never be satisfied, and you will never be able to quit. Because even your mind will be going as, where is the next fix? Whether it's carbs, whether it's sex, whether it's gambling, whatever the addiction. So the true addiction is in the need to satisfy the false sense of self. That is humanity's addiction. The things reach for don't matter, but what they are reaching for does. Learn this truth, because it is only this truth that by the reaching for the next thing you think will give you pleasure. But the thing is that pleasure becomes an enslavement. We become enslaved like the puppet on a string. Now I have to, it's no longer I who functions. It's no longer I who's domineering, but it is the persona, the part that is no longer you, that it is being run by programs that says, okay, reach for this, including, procrastination is another addiction. Just because it gives us a specific sense of pressure, stress, and we learn to run on that. So everything has its own addiction, its own chemistry that we're running on. So don't think that just because somebody's an alcoholic or a drug addict, that those are the only ones that are addicted. We are all addicted to different things, and we all have our own addictions. So you are enslaved by reaching for the next thing you think that will give you pleasure. And that's it for addiction. Any questions? Nope. Okay, moving on. The beauty of life isn't the newness of each moment. This beauty isn't observed by many because of the view developed by the conditioned mind. But this does not mean that beauty isn't there. Our disillusionments come in many forms, and they are all used to reinforce the disillusionment of the quote unquote I. The I. It's like one big circle. The way the mind has been conditioned makes us perceive life as if it were on a merry-go-round. You can't get off, you cannot get off it until you realize you are on it. Think about it. Look and see how time is used and how fast it goes by. The days of the week are used like this, along with work week. There are so many things used that keep us on the merry-go-round. Look and see what it is that keeps you on the merry-go-round of the conditioned mind. Our life becomes one task after another, and we basically do the same things over and over. Our disillusionment is is that is that this is the way it must be, but this isn't so. It doesn't have to be this way. Every moment of every day is different unto itself. You may make it the same because of the conditioned mind, but it's impossible for any moment to be duplicated. You hear that? It's impossible for any moment to be duplicated. Once it's in the past, it can never be repeated. The newness of each moment can only be understood by a mind that is quiet enough to become aware of it. The burden disillusionment is a result of our conditioned thinking. To get off this merry-go-round, you must be free of this type of thinking. And to be free of this conditioned thinking, the newness of each moment must be understood. Nothing done yesterday or even 1 second ago has anything to do with right now, unless it's made so. Enjoy the newness of life by living each moment unto itself, or not, and carry around the burden of each moment and stay in the merry-go-round. You can get off anytime you want, but that will, but that will be to you is a choice like anything else. Choose again if you want to get off the merry-go-round. In the blinking of an eye, the beauty of a moment is missed, and it's right there. I think that was pretty self-explanatory, but if you have a question, I'm right here. Questions? No? Okay. truly living. When the body is used as an anchor to remain present, you begin truly living your life. In this space, you find true love, not a story of love, but the love of the present moment where nothing else exists. There is no reason whatsoever that a person has to suffer in any way today, because there is enough information available to prevent it. But this is a truth that one must find else. No book, video, guru, religion, teacher, self-proclaimed enlightened teacher, programs, 12-step or otherwise, or anything else can show you the truth. They can only point the way, and that's it. I know today what I have always known, and although I have been pointed in the same direction for years, his message did not click with me until I was ready to see it 13 years ago. It may not always be understood why I do what I do or say what I say, but if you knew what I knew, you will do what I do. Write it down. Okay. I see much needless suffering in the world around me, and I say it's needless, and that's even with those who proclaim they are awake. It doesn't take much to know whether one is truly awake. All that needs to be seen is where the attachments are, and suffering will not be far behind. If you want to stop suffering, stop using the mind and learn to use the body. The body is always in the present moment. It's why the breath is used in meditation. You can't take a past or a future breath. You can only breathe now. The body is used as an anchor to remain present. The mind-made suffering dissipates, and lo and behold, you begin living your life in the only place it exists, where your feet are. In this space, you find true love. Not the story of love, but true love, but the love of the present moment where nothing else exists. You can never take a past or a future breath. You can only breathe now. Did we understand? Uh,
I was trying to keep up, but
okay.
you went through it a little fast, and I didn't really grasp that. I would really love to hear that part again about the what stops suffering.
Okay.
So I'm just getting them back in
And
now.
that should help you.
Okay.
Is everybody okay? All right. I'm going to repeat what I said. I'm going to repeat it the way I understand it. When you use the body as an anchor, rather than your thought system, rather than concentrating on your thoughts or your past or your present or your future, you use your body. One of the best ways to do so is through the breath. That's how come a lot of people use that in meditation, because you cannot breathe in the past and you cannot breathe in the future. You can only breathe right now in the present. That's how come when in meditation, a lot of teachers says concentrate on your breath, concentrate um, on your breath. If you concentrate on your breath, you lose sight, and if you just concentrate on that, put your full attention and focus on that rather than whatever your mind is dictating you to attach yourself to. If you find yourself that you cannot break from um, a thoughts or a word or an anxiety feeling and any of that, concentrate on your breath and go into deeper breaths. Even the pausing between the breaths um, is when you actually, at that moment in time, is when you're actually the most present. You just took a big breath and then you paused. What that does, it provides you a moment where you are not giving or receiving, so you're in the quietness of that moment. in the space between thoughts, as they say. That's in between the spaces of between the in-breath and the out-breath also. When you're in that space, you become in the stillness of that breath. And in the stillness of that breath, you're able to receive more information. Whenever you're looking for answers, look at that thought. And then concentrate on your breath. Concentrate on your breath, and the moment that you do, you become more still. That's what we call anchoring in the body. Virginia, did you get that?
I did, but I don't. So where's this? Where's the stop the suffering part?
When you are disassociating from thought, the thoughts that you attach to create the suffering. If the thought flows without you paying attention to it, you do not stop the thought because you're not paying attention to it. But you, the moment you stop for the thought, you have stopped the flow. Got it? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. When the body is used as an anchor to remain present, you begin truly living your life. In this space, you find true love, not a story of love, but the love of the present moment, for nothing else exists. There is no reason whatsoever that a person has to suffer in any way today, because there is enough information available to go past it. And that was part of what I was explaining. I went back to that because of what you said about the suffering. So we are in suffering because we allow ourselves to dwell on it, to dwell on the thought, to make the thought more present and more important than your present moment. Okay, most people consider life perfect if everything is as it is wanted. So make all the changes you think you need. Just understand you are trying to change what's already perfect, because life's perfection is as it is. As it is, life is already perfect. It's said that no one can have the perfect life, but everyone has the perfect life because it's always as it is. If if it's only perfect when it's as it's wanted, the saying is true, because no one can have the perfect life, as it will hardly be the way that you want it. But even if it was, that will not mean that it was perfect. It will just mean it is the way that you want it. The perfect life is life as it is, because it cannot be any other way except as it is. This is where struggles are derived from, thinking if life was different, it will be perfect. But how can something that is as it is be improved upon? Perfection cannot be improved upon. When a perfect game is pitched in baseball, nothing will make it more perfect. If a basketball player makes 10 shots, then he tries, he is perfect. Now you can say the pitcher could have thrown less pitches and the baseball player could have made every basket without hitting the rim, but it will not have changed the perfection as it is. We look for all kinds of ways to improve on life's perfection, but regardless of what is done, it doesn't change the perfection of the way it is. No outer circumstance can change the perfection of what is. This is the main reason people are in constant seeking perfection mode and use so many different things to try and attain perfection. But it's never attained because perfection is as it is. So to seek perfection is to want change, and to want to change something which already is as it should be. Life is always the way that it is, And that's what makes it perfect. It cannot be altered in any way to make it more perfect, because that means it wasn't perfect to begin with. Be with the perfection of life as it is. Make all the changes you think you need. Just understand you are trying to change what's already perfect, because life's perfection is in as it is. Regardless of how it is wanted, life can only be as it is. Be here now. If you're here now, there's nothing to aspire for, nothing that is really there to pull you. When you're present, everything is complete, everything is here, right now. There is, if my thought is, well, if this wasn't happening, or if, somebody didn't have to have an operation, or somebody didn't have to die, or somebody didn't, fill in the blank. It's the resistance to what is. But it's not a resistance coming from you. It's a resistance coming from a programming of what it means to be in a successful, fulfilled moment, rather than acknowledging that you are already there. And if you concentrate on that, nothing will be missing. If you concentrate on the wholeness of the moment and the perfection of the moment, you will not be in lack, regardless of what's going on around you or whatever else is happening. Questions?
So,
Yes, Virginia.
so you said, I missed this part of that. You said to seek perfection is to want change, and it means that we don't accept what is. But then it says, go ahead and make the changes you want to. How does that fit into the paradigm? Or what came after
It says
that?
go ahead and make changes. That's not going to be fulfilling.
Huh?
It's not going to be fulfilling.
Oh,
If you try to make a change and improve it, you can't. In other words, nothing's stopping you to trying to change it. You become addicted to trying to change it. That's part of the addiction.
so we never
It
have
says
a
go ahead, try to change
preference
things. That's not going to help you.
about anything at any time. Any change we want at
Okay,
any time at any time is not fulfilling.
let's say that you said, okay, if I get up maybe a little bit earlier, and if I do this and if I do that, and then maybe then I can go ahead hard for
Breaking up.
the way that you feel so pressure is because you don't accept what is as it is.
So you don't make any decisions.
You can make decisions in the present. You can say, okay, I'm gonna do, prepare your day ahead or whatever, but accept the day as it's going. Not, oh my God, I still have 20,000 other things to do. No, what's the next thing? What am I doing right now? At this moment, this is what I need to be doing. Rather than putting all that pressure on you, rather than saying, okay, I'm not behaving properly, I'm not behaving specifically as it should. Well, all that brought you to this moment. This moment now is, if you get the expectation out of the way, this moment is wholeness. This moment is a true expression of completeness. Nothing missing, nothing broken. What is that word? Shalom. I mean, we're getting into more heavier stuff as we
That's a
go
heavy topic.
into in the last classes. Excuse me?
It's a heavy topic. It's a profound topic. It's not heavy, it's profound.
Right. Okay, anybody else? Penny? I thought I saw your mic on, but I wasn't sure if you were asking a question.
Kind of evading me a little bit because it's almost like, I don't know, I find it a little hard to be able to actually live without moment to moment, without some kind of planning and some kind of to-do list, or some kind of I need to get this done, or there are going to be negative repercussions. I mean,
I didn't say you didn't need to make a list. I didn't say you didn't need to do that.
no,
You
I
can.
know you didn't. I know you didn't say that, but I'm saying that, Angie. I'm saying I don't know how I can exactly live without a list or some planning, or some knowing that this certain things have to be done by a certain time, where there could be negative repercussions.
They would have had the time had you let things flow normally without worrying about it. Most people, what that does to you is limits you to time, limitation of time and space, rather than the free flow of the oneness of the moment. So you get caught up in time rather than in the moment, or rather in the now, however you want to put that. In the infiniteness of now. And now, by now, I don't mean a moment of now. Because when you try to put things in the now, or find the now, because you're, if I say now, it already went by. I mean, you didn't even have, rather be present in your body and not your mind. And when you can still make the list, but do not be a slave to the list. The moment you become a slave to the list, the more that you get into, the more you block the energy flow of what is there for you to help you. The more that you are going to be a slave to things that the things that you're trying to control the most are the things that you become the most more enslaved to. That's because you're getting out of you're stuck in time. You're stuck in the past or the past or the future. So you need to step out, what I call stepping out of time and stepping into the now, the presence. I like them to say the presence rather than the moment, no, rather than the now, because now is a unit of time. A moment is a unit of time. So I'm also now, aside from last week, I started to disconnect from the body. This week, we're disconnecting out of time. We're stepping out of time. We're in this world, but not of it. I am in a world of time, but I don't belong to it. I'm perfectly aware that I am more than, that I don't belong to the time space continuum. I belong to the wholeness and infiniteness of awareness, which has no limitations on or labeling or time constructs. You are perfectly free of all of that. You can still work with all of it, but don't not be enslaved by it. Because the moment you start being enslaved by time is the moment you're becoming the prisoner. The more that you become a prisoner of time, and the more that you say, I have all these things to do, guess what? You can never step out of that. You will never step out of it the moment that you continue to say, I still have all these things to do. I have all these things to accomplish. I still have this list, this mile-long list, and I just don't have the time. well, can you come and have lunch with me? Can you spend some time with me? Can you, well, I'm gonna take care of such and such. I have to take care of the, you know, the dog, the cat, the whatever, the person, the significant other, and it's not that you don't take care of them. You, in the perfectness of the presence, you're able to move to step at a time where you're not ruled by time, and you are able. I don't know what happens exactly because I have experienced this myself, where you kind of expand time. That's the only way that I can say that I have expanded time. Uh, and I didn't. I mean, it was perfect. So I had to do everything with ease. Um,
Okay,
so
thank
that's
you.
the way that I see the time. Mhm. Anybody else? Okay, moving on.
Sarah is raising her hand, Angie.
So, who? Oh, hi, Sarah.
Hi. One thing I just wanted to add to that is that I don't know, Penny, if you've read the like Abraham Hicks books before. No? Getting in like to the vortex, what that reminds me of what Angie's saying is like when you're in the present, everything flows in a sense that those to-do things become easier. Like if you needed some work done on your house, you just happen to coincidentally run into the person that knows exactly how to do that and can do it for the best price, and all of those kinds of things. Like when you're in the vortex, when you're flowing, those to-do lists get done with ease
Well, that
because
that kind of happened.
you're connected.
I do know what you mean by that. I do know what you mean, because that kind of happened for me yesterday. So what if everything comes to fruition today, which I'm hoping to get a call? It is exactly what you're saying. It all kind of just went, and I don't know if I was actually conscious that I was in the present or in the moment, but I always call it that divine order when those kind of things happen. But I understand what you're saying, and yeah, I understand that. And it feels good because you feel like, wow, everything just came together. Yeah, without a lot
It
of
clicks, right? Yeah, it feels like it's all clicking.
really
It's
without
because you're in the flow.
yeah, I must
Mhm.
have been slow yesterday. I don't know why, but everything just came together. I got the thanks.
So, of course.
Alrighty then. Yes, Chad.
Well, I just want to kind of speak about that too. Myself, yes, I get my own way a lot of times, and however, and I might say or think that I procrastinate a lot, and perhaps I do, but there are also what I see too in many people is that we always have to be doing something. Just that's an addiction as well.
It's an addiction. Procrastination is an addiction on itself. I mean, that's one of the biggest addictions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I work toward not procrastinating. I get that. So, but it all is inclusive to addiction, what you're speaking to. And when I do get out of my way and things go just smoothly and things get done, like I believe Reverend Virginia, you spoke to that on Easter. You can step away from things, and things just get done automatically. Where you're not having to do all of that work by yourself or for yourself alone, because we have angels and who can clearly get things done more efficiently than myself anyway. But I don't know. That's like being
Right.
and thank you.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. The thing is that unless you are fully in the presence or anchored in the body, you are in an, you are operating out of addiction, and or addiction, or either um, and what I mean by addiction is the addiction is there because of the programming, the mind programming that we are reacting to. It's not that you are an addictive personality, only that your programs are running you. Okay, I'm moving on. Uh, and I like the way he wrote this. It's called The Beneficial Life, but he put the B, the B, the beneficial life. So the being, the beneficial life. To live in the most beneficial life, there has to be alignment with love so this can happen. This is only an issue because through the conditioned mind, there's mostly alignment to self-serve. There's one very simple rule that allows a person to live a beneficial life, and this rule is learn to do what's necessary to be in alignment with love. If this rule isn't followed, it will be difficult to live a full and beneficial life. By beneficial, I mean being an instrument of love. This isn't done by doing certain things, it's done by being a certain way, which allows for this to occur. You can't love any more than what's in your heart. Doing endless good deeds will not add one iota of love to your heart unless the good deed intentions are done from a base of a loving heart. And by loving, I don't mean the sentimental stuff. Um, with intentions of love, doing good deeds opens the heart opens, and love fulfills its potential. This is not the conventional way of approaching life, but it is the way I have found that it is the most beneficial for putting one in alignment with love. The major block to living a beneficial life is learning through the conditioned mind to think in ways to self-serve, not to be. When, excuse me, okay. So I'm going back a little bit. This is not a conventional way of approaching life, but it is the way I have found that is the most beneficial for putting one in alignment with love. The major block to living a beneficial life is learning through the conditioned mind to think in ways of self-love, not to be. When you think like this, there's no time to be and think of others because you're too busy thinking about yourself. So much time is wasted on thinking and of finding ways to satisfy oneself. Even if your journey is to help others, there must be an awareness of the attachment that the self-serving mind conjures up to make it about satisfying the self. Let's say that I am a very giving person, for example, and um I went and I'm doing this for this person, that for that person, or somebody needs prayers, or somebody needs to be taken a ride, or somebody needs to do something for somebody else for whatever reason. Or, just fill in the blank, whatever you're doing, that you're helping others. But if you find yourself um, in a dissatisfied way because you are tired, because they're asking too much because of that, then that's an indication that you are not doing it out of love, but out of self-fulfillment, because you think that this is being loving. Being loving is not the same as coming from love, because love is not a feeling, and in love is not an emotion, and love shouldn't have an intent. It really doesn't have an intention behind it. So it surprised me when he mentioned have the intention of love. This is who you are, and the moment you allow yourself to be who you are, you come out of that. It's not an intention, it's just a free flow. And you don't force yourself. If somebody says, well, I really need you to do this for me because XYZ, and then you feel pressure to do that because you have this person demanding all this time of you, and now suddenly you don't know what to do with for yourself, because you yourself have other things that you would like to do but you can't do. You're too busy with everybody else at the whims of that. But if you don't do it, then you will not feel good about yourself, because you're not being the good little person that you told yourself you are by doing these things. So the self-serving, excuse me, I don't know why I have this in the back of my throat, and I try to drink water, but I have this thing that is picking at the back of my throat. Anyhow, um, there's a fine line between the self-serving mind and the love-serving mind. With but with discipline, the mind will settle, so one can see the difference and stop doing what doesn't really benefit our life or your life and or the life of others. You can do for a lot of people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is how they benefit. And we think that if we do our best to fulfill some sort of need, that that's what we need. But if you are feeling, and I'm not talking about anyone in particular, but if you're feeling stressed about doing even your work or your whatever it is, if you feel that that somehow that's interfering with your life, then you need to step back. I mean, I would not that you need to, but I mean, if it was me, I will step back and catch my breath and get anchored in my body through the breath to find out uh, what it truly is helpful and what is just somebody at when what is a dependence. A dependence is not a need. A dependence is somebody forcing you or wanting to control you by I need you. I always in need of, regardless of the reason. You know, uh, whether you have a child or the cats or the dogs or I'm going through people here, or through your congregants, or through your family, or your neighbors, or you fill in the blank, your husband or your partner. All of these things are self-serving if you're taxed by them. Because if you're coming out of love, there's nothing that is going to diminish that energy in your body. You're going to be thriving because you are coming out of love. It's a whole different mindset. Not even a mindset, it's a way of being. Either you're, coming out of love, or you're coming out of need in this particular case of what I'm talking about right now. Okay. With discipline, the mind will settle, so one can see the differences and stop doing what doesn't really benefit your life or the life of others. You can learn to just be. But the dilemma to this being is, if all you're thinking about is doing things for somebody or somebody's today are strictly a benefit to yourself, there won't be any room for being a benefit to others. If this is the rule you're living life by, you won't be doing what's necessary to be, so there won't be an alignment with love, and life will not be lived to the fullest, or be as beneficial as it could and should be. A beneficial life will benefit others, but it begins with you. It should benefit you first. If you're putting others ahead of you because they need and not necessarily what you had attended or that you need to attend to yourself or take care of yourself, or even when it comes to fun, because you have to do all of these other things. You don't have to do anything. Whatever you feel like dictated or mandated to do, you are choosing that. So if you don't have any questions, I'm moving on. No questions, okay. Label limits. Any label used to describe a path limits the path to whatever label is being applied. Judgments, concepts, and beliefs are all labeled limits that block the awe-inspiring magnificence the universe has to offer. The universe needs no permission to do what it does. It only responds to things out of necessity, but it does not unconditionally without thought. Okay, let me repeat that because I got lost. The universe needs no permission to do what it does. It only responds to things out of necessity, but it does so unconditionally without thought. It doesn't label or form concepts or beliefs. It exists as it is with nothing added because it needs nothing. It's self-sustaining. It creates, it destroys, it neither loves nor hates in the sense of emotions, but its beauty is awe-inspiring and arises from a love that can't be described. It's pure energy, and it is from this energy that we are created. This is existence in its purest state. The moment this is labeled, it loses its sense of purity. Humans apply all kinds of labels to life, but understand it is derived from a concept made up by the thought, quote unquote, the I, not life. The more I needs to label life, the more conceptual it becomes, and the more life's true essence is missed. Even the label of no label is from the I, the sense of I, the sense of personality, the sense of persona. So the place of no labels, concepts, beliefs, and non-emotional attachment is one's true place of existence. One more time. The place of no labels, titles, concepts, beliefs, and non-emotional attachment is one's true place of existence. It's in this place, in the midst of the universe, that our true essence is. It's a place that is here, there, and everywhere, but not labeled as such. Stillness exists as life, and if a label is needed, apply it. Just understand that every label has a limit. When something is labeled, it creates a block. So be in the unlimited space of what is, and be with the universe, with what the universe has to offer. All the beauty of the universe is within each and every person. It is where everyone arose from, but only the label applied by the I, quote unquote, limits the awareness of the universe's magnificence. Labels only limit the magnificence the universe offers. I'm pausing. Comments, questions? No? Okay. Hi, Cherry.
Hi. There's just one thing that my personal belief system that I'm changing, and is that when I focus on me, then I'm being self-centered. And I have been programmed in um, in the 12-step group I'm in that self-centeredness is the worst thing we can do. That's where I have a problem with this. It's
Okay, when you're talking about self-centeredness, there's a difference between catering to the self capital S or catering to the personality, quote unquote, ego. Different things. Do I come out of where there's no efforting? That's your self capital S. If it's coming out of a neediness, out of a sense of duty, out of a sense I have to because there's nobody else to do this for for this person or that one or the other one, or I really have to do this because I'm at work or because I'm doing whatever. I have to, I need to. They have nobody else, which means that you believe that there's a dependency, that they really need you.
no, it's
No, wait a minute. Let just finish the thought. So if you're coming that, if you're coming, but I mean to say that you take care of yourself first, that means that you are coming out of complete love, that you are coming out of your true self, that you're coming out of need and out of want.
okay.
Go ahead.
What I was trying to say is that it was drilled into my head for decades that selfishness and self-centeredness is the root of all my problems, thinking that the universe is not going to take care of me and that I've got to do for others and then I will be taken care of. That's where I struggle.
Okay, because you are taking the programming that this world has used. And there is nothing wrong with, if I don't give to myself, I don't have to give to others. And when giving, even when I give to others, it's incomplete because it's not out of a sense of truly being present with them in my presence. I'm not displaying that I'm doing chores rather than I am, and I am, for example, preparing a lesson for you guys. But if I wasn't doing it out of love, I would say, oh my God, I'm exhausted. Okay, I haven't slept much. I haven't done this, that, the other, but I am not, at this moment, I am not tired. I am not falling asleep. I am not, maybe once this class is over. That's not what I'm trying to say. That is love. But if I was doing it and I was struggling at this point, if I got tired while doing this, then I will not be doing it out of love. I will be doing it because I think you guys need to be encouraged, or I believe that you guys need something. But I'm doing it because of me to you. If I come out of a sense of where my ego is not involved, where my persona is not involved, where everything just flows and I'm just doing, I'm being myself. That's what I mean by yourself, by be self-serving. Be yourself regardless of what you're doing. Your sense of self, not a specific, oh my God, you have $100 and somebody's, you see that somebody's hungry, you might want to give them a few dollars, or, you know, um, but if, you can take the same example and give them, you give them money, but if they didn't really want to because you didn't have that much to begin with, and you feel put upon, but you also see the need and you go ahead and do it. That's not coming out of love, even though you're doing the deed. There's a big difference between doing things because they need to and you're doing. Okay, it's a difference between treating yourself. The benefit of giving to others is because you're always giving to yourself, and you are always in that flow, and you're always in that um, expansion. It's an expansion move, expansiveness. Love always expands and it's all inclusive. And if you feel other than that, then I would have said that then you're being selfish. But I don't see that. It's just a difference of perception. But I understand perfectly what you're saying, because that's we all got in our generation people that we were always do do for others before you do for yourself, and do for this, and all these lessons that we were taught not only in 12 steps but also by society, a way to make sure that you were there for your parents when they got older, and this, and not that you shouldn't be, only that it has to come from, I really want to be there. But if you see the visiting your parents is because, oh my God, I had to be there, there's nobody else there, a sense of obligation is totally different. So anybody else want to add to that? Virginia?
You said it very well earlier when you said if you don't take care of yourself, you can't really take care of others. And in the meditation today, because I just saw some David R. Hawkins this morning before the class, and he was saying, uh, because of our oneness, if we love ourselves, we love others. If we love others, we're loving ourselves. So we need that balance between loving and caring for ourselves as we love and care for others. Is the way I see that.
Okay. Anybody else wants to add to that? Okay. I'm going to move on. Understanding the phenomenon of memory is very important in breaking the chains of suffering, because it's the attachment to the quote unquote I, like I am or something, but this is just the I, that wants to only remember what's pleasurable. The phenomenon of how we remember things and constantly bring them into the present is simply that, a phenomenon. Although this happens without it being realized, when it is realized, it changes the way existence is viewed. The memory of how things truly are gets distorted in a way because they are viewed through the conditioning in place. Conditioning that mostly manifested in constantly seeking pleasure. This Think of this. When someone dies, no one gets up and says the person was an SOB. What's usually said borders on making the individual a saint, regardless of if when alive the person was an SOB. This is the memory phenomenon it places and utilizes, and until it's realized, life is spent constantly seeking making up pleasurable memories. The mind doesn't like unpleasant memories. So it makes up wants to remember things that are pleasurable. This this is part of the survival instinct ingrained in us. Those who remember painful events also use them to find something pleasurable, even if even if to just push them away. Hence, this is why one reaches outside themselves for comfort. Nobody reaches for anything for any other reason but to provide comfort. In this comfort seeking, there's no such there's so much unconsciousness and unconscious suffering. Comfort, pleasure, pleasure, comfort. These two go hand in hand, and until this is understood, they will continue to cause unconscious suffering. Understanding the phenomenon of memory is very important in breaking the chains of bondage, because it's the attachment to the quote unquote I, the I am and I have and I want and I, all of that, that makes one only remember what's pleasurable, even to the points of his own destruction. The I seeks pleasure. Just look at any rehab or detox. Every drug or drink or alcohol taken had the lure of pleasure associated with it, or it wouldn't have been taken. Understanding this isn't limited to just those things. This goes for anything that's reached for. The mind defaults to what's familiar and it uses pleasure as its lure. Until this is realized, you will continue to use memory to make everyone a saint. At least, at least that's what's said when they die. The phenomenon of memory is it constantly seeks pleasure for contentment. So, anyone, any questions? What, Sherry?
I always said that I have a good forgetter for bad things, and that was brought up to me because I would talk about an ex, and they'd be like, "But don't you remember he broke your back?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah," but I get that, and that explains a lot to me why I have a forgetter for bad things.
Thank you. Yes, Virginia.
I've been at 2 memorials where they did say he was an SOB. But I also think that
At least they're being truthful.
oh, well,
It's a projection,
no,
remember that.
well, I just want to say there's exceptions to that. And
Yeah,
I also think that if we have been deeply hurt, we will remember those things. No, we don't remember those things. So
there's
well,
no
God knows then
exceptions.
there's so much then pain in my past then that I've repressed.
it's we are labeled, and we all do that. So it's not a
Does the
I
screen
don't
keep
hear you,
freezing for everybody? Okay.
Sherry.
The screen keeps freezing and I can't.
Yeah, but can you hear me when I'm talking?
Not all the time. You're breaking up
Can
sometimes.
you hear me when I'm talking?
Sometimes, but not all the time.
Okay. Well, we all have been breaking up at different times. Like you come in a few, I can see your mouth moving and then your words catch up to you.
Well, some
To
of
you
that's because I
specifically,
forget to
Virginia.
unmute.
Okay. All right. Moving on. The treadmill mind. The conditioned mind keeps you on a treadmill, using the same mind to create and solve problems. A quiet mind allows you to get off the treadmill. accepting what life gives as opposed to wanting it differently. When the mind becomes agitated, if the agitation is to be quieted, the cause of it needs to be identified. An agitated mind can't do this, so you will need to get off the treadmill if there's to be quiet. When it's understood, when the when it's understood the problems you have been created by your own mind. It will also be known that the problems created cannot be solved by the same mind as creating them. Simply put, a mind that creates a problem cannot be used to fix the problem that it has created. An example would be a person who uses alcohol as an escape mechanism. At first, it seems as though it provides the sought after release, but as time goes by, it affects life in a way that it no longer provides the escape. It becomes the reason an escape mechanism is needed. But the person still uses the alcohol as the solution to escape the harm the alcohol is causing. Insanity at its finest. The alcohol can be substituted with anything or anything. It could be food, could be sugar, could be drugs, could be sex, could be an emotion, could be adrenaline, it could be anxiety. Stress itself is an addiction. What is used doesn't really matter. How you get stuck on the treadmill of life is the point of this. If the conditioned mind that keeps a person on the treadmill using the same mind to create and solve problems, it's the conditioned mind that keeps a person on the treadmill using the same mind to create and solve problems. I did this for years, and today it's not this way. It's not that I have a different mind, but there's a difference in the way it processes information. In a sense, it's different, with the difference being there's no now quietness instead of constant agitations. What quietness allows is the awareness of the present moment and living and accepting what life gives, as opposed to wanting it to be to want it to be some other way. Getting off the treadmill is the way it has to be if there's going to be peace in your life. Once again, the treadmill mind creates both problems and solutions. But the mind that creates the problem is not the mind that is going to solve the problem. I just want to remind you that. So, questions? How you doing, Charlotte? I haven't heard a peep from you.
I'm doing good. Thank you. I'm enjoying.
Okay. Any questions?
Not exactly. Well, on the last part, how do you solve your problems then? Besides being a
Okay.
quiet mind, is that how?
Well, yeah, because your mind has got to go outside of itself. It starts asking for advice.
Okay.
You know, they'll go and says, "What do you think?" You know, people go, "What do you think of this?" Or, you know, "I'm going through this, and you know, I'm weighing my options." And you know, so you go and you ask for help, whether it is an internal searching or an external searching. You will go out and find something, or go in, and there's
Okay.
always that. Okay. But it's remember that that's not the mind, that's your spirit. You're asking the higher self for the answer,
Okay.
not the ego.
Right. Okay.
All right. Elsa,
I'm
how
good.
you
I'm
doing?
fine. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Any comments, questions, anything?
I'm very good, thank you. Enjoying also.
Okay,
Thanks.
okay, thanks. So if nobody has any more questions, I'm moving on. No, I don't think I'm moving on because I'm running out of time here. The next pieces will have to wait till next week. Okay.
Well, there was plenty packed in today.
I wasn't done yet.
I don't care. It's still a lot.
But that's how come I didn't go to. Have you known me to come with little material to a class?
Never.
Hi, Penny.
I wondered if we could kind of use one class or maybe, well, not a whole class maybe, but part of a class to review some of these things, because it is so jam-packed that it's like it kind of, my mind just kind of goes reeling.
Okay.
And by the time I write it down,
I'm
by the time I write it down and think through it, you're already on like 2 subjects after that, and then I'm going, oh my gosh, I forgot I have to write this down, and I'm like so far behind. Like I seem to get far behind because, and of course I had a technical difficulty with my speakers today, but anyway.
I think we were all having problems, but unfortunately at this time I can't because of the time it's 2:54.
Oh, I'm not saying now.
And I still have to do
some class. We could maybe have a little bit of time to.
Well, next week. How about next week? Next week we'll go through a review, but
Yeah.
I won't do the review. You guys will do the review. I will call on you for and you might not want to actually participate in the review. You might actually have a question of the review that you personally did when you go back through the thing. And Chad, all my talks are on YouTube under Unity North Tampa on YouTube, and they're under vibrational attunement, and I put them out every week if you go through my website, not my website, my Facebook. All righty. So I need you to.
I'm sorry, I am interrupting you once, but I apologize. So I can go to Unity on YouTube because I'm not on Facebook. So you have 2 places.
Yes.
Yes, you can go into in YouTube under Unity North Tampa, and it will give you the vibrational attunement. You can either put vibrational attunement, Unity North Tampa vibrational attunement, or Unity North Tampa, and start see if you have the last one, which is today's date. What is today, the 27th or the 28th? I'm lost.
8.
The 29th.
What?
Oh, that's the 8th too?
No. Well, let's see.
29th.
Oh, it is the 29th. Okay.
My God. Is it okay? The 20th. Okay. All right. Do for you, Chad. I'm just gonna send it to you. I usually try to send it to the people that didn't.
Okay.
It's the 29th.
Yes.
Okay. I was 2 days behind. That's all.
That's okay.
Anyhow. Okay. I'll send it to you when it comes out. All
Angie,
right.
I thought you were
I'm gonna
living
send it to you via Messenger. Anyway, there will be a review next week. And even the people that weren't here will be able to participate because I'm going to ask questions about specific subjects, which they should have already some kind of, I want to know what they think.
Maybe we can give some examples, or I think examples are always helpful.
What I'll do for you is I'm going to send you my class for you to review. And then if you have any questions about the review that you're doing, then get those questions and we'll go over them.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, please put your hands on on your heart, on top of your heart. I want you to take in a deep breath as we anchor the body through the breath. Breathe in and out. Remember that the pause between breaths is the ones that allow you for the stillness. Concentrate on the stillness of the mind, allowing peace and harmony. Peace, be still and know that I am that. I am peace. I am love. I am the spirit of life, of completeness and wholeness. I am the dominant presence in my life. I am the dominant presence in my decisions and my intentions. I am that I am, coming from the higher self, coming from our higher self, allowing ourselves the presence of self, the presence of awareness. Not the thought, but the presence. Presence is pure awareness. Presence is all illumined, instructions and ideas. It allows for understanding because it already knows what it needs to know, what you need to know. It doesn't strive. It does not compete. It does not get anxious. It is self-flowing, self-expressing, self-fulfilling. It recognizes no enemies. It recognizes no divisions. It recognizes no enemies. Again, I want you to breathe in, not from your body now. I just want you to be aware of what's breathing you. It's not the body breathing. It is you breathing the body. I want you to feel the breath entering your body. I want you to feel yourself breathing in and out and pausing. You are in the dominion of your body. I want you to understand that I want you to feel your forehead, not yours, but the body's forehead. That body that you use. I want you to feel the forehead in your body. I want you to feel your face in your body. You're not your body. You're more than that. So you activate the body. You are that body. In action, you use that body for expression, but you are not the body. The dominion of your body comes from the understanding that you can command the body to feel. And at this point, I'm gonna say, feel your body's neck. Feel your chest. Your body's chest, not you. Feel your shoulders, your arms, and your back in your body. I want you to feel your body. Not you, but your body. I want you to feel your body. The body exists in you. There's no outside body. You're not the body, but the body exists inside of you. I want you to feel the needs in your body. Feel your body in expression of what you intend. You are the power that activates the body you use. I want you to feel your elbows in your body. And concentrate back to you breathing the body. Breathe your body in and out. You have dominion of that body as you breathe with each breath. You are giving dominion. You are activating your dominion over the body. You breathe the body. The body doesn't breathe itself. Allow the consciousness that you are to feel the feet of the body that you use. You use these feet and the knees that you use and the buttocks. Feel the thighs in your body. You are the one that gives them life. You are the one that is the feeler. That's what you use the body for, expression. You also are the one that intends for calmness and peacefulness. You are the peace. You are the peace that you seek. You are that love that you seek. You are that completeness that you seek. And I'm asking those energies of what you're seeking to be expressed through your physical body, calling forth the energy of love to come into your body, calling forth your dominion on peace to come into your body, into the body you use. The body is only a vehicle and you drive it. It only does what you intend to if you're conscious. So be conscious. Be conscious that you are and you can intend perfect health to that body that you use. So calling forth the energy of wholeness and perfect beingness and perfect health to enter your body, because you have that dominion to call forth these energies of whatever it is you need to use. You can, and it's okay to be distracted. It's okay to be doing whatever it is that you need to do. Just remember, you can always go back and listen to the meditation. It is in your dominion of your body. You're in the dominion of your body. You're in the dominion of your mind. Nothing can come without your permission, but you do need to be aware of who you are. You have to have dominion over your body. You have to have dominion over your mind. You have to have dominion over your feelings and emotions. You are that. You are that powerful. You are the creator of life. You created that body. You as the creator, not you as the body. You created the body that you use. You are the dominion when you recognize this. So the more you recognize this, the more that you are coming to dominion of how powerful you truly are. You are the calmness you seek. You are the compassion you seek. You are the self-love that you seek. You have the ability to call those energies, because that is you. Call the wholeness of who you are into your physical body, allowing it to express who you truly are, your true expression of self. You are wanted, you are loving, you are cherished. And I want you to realize that it is you who gives you those things. Call them forth as your dominion. You have the dominion. And God gave dominion to man, to mankind, have dominion over all things on earth. And it is, and it was then, but it still is, a perfect dominion, as you understand dominion to be. Not dominance, but dominion. You have the authority because you are that power. You are that essence. Do not confuse your body with who you are. The body is what you give the dominion to. I mean, you give you dominate the body. You become the dominion over the body, not the body over you. I want you right now to call whatever energy that you need right now, that you feel you need for you, for your mind or your body. Call it forth to help you have dominion over your life. And as we progress in meditation about dominion, the more that you enter into the obedience, the body's obedience to the domain and to the source of power that you are. Allow the peace and understanding of who you are to have dominion over your body, your physicality. Your physicality cannot run amok without your permission, but you need to understand who you are. It's like you having a shoe and you asking the shoe to walk by itself. It won't do it. The same with the spirit. Spirit has to be present and to have dominion over the body. The body has no dominion. The Bible says that the flesh profits nothing. It's not that the flesh is not wanted. It is wanted because it is our vehicle for expression. But we are in total dominion if we want to be. And the more we want to understand this, the more that we're able to take that dominion and utilize it properly. You are as God created you. And he said that all was good, that mankind was good, and it was, and he said it, and we said it, and so it is. So the God I'm speaking of here, I'm talking about your higher self. With this, I want you to come back slowly to your physicality. I want you to become more aware of your body. Become more aware of who you are. Become more aware of who you are in that body, not the body. Don't identify with the body. I want to say goodbye now because I have used every last second that we had. I am blessing you now. I'm blessing you. God bless.
Receiving.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.